During the wedding reception, the JSA was swept into the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Green Lantern participated in the crisis and returned to the newly formed Earth at the conclusion of the crisis. Shortly thereafter, he joined the rest of the JSA in Limbo to forestall the coming of Ragnarok. Last Days of the Justice Society, Issue 1. To defeat the demon Ibraxis, the Spectre and Wave Rider rescued the JSA, including Green Lantern, from Limbo and returned them to Earth. Armageddon, Inferno, Issue 3. Alan Scott returned to his wife and his membership in the JSA, becoming an active member again. Justice Society of America, Issues 1 through 10. He resumed his directorship of his broadcasting company, which had been left under Molly Mayne's helm in his absence. He confronted familiar enemies such as Solomon Grundy, Green Lantern Corps Quarterly, Issue 4, and new ones such as a new Harlequin, Green Lantern Corps Quarterly, Issue 5. It is unknown whether this new Harlequin was the same Harlequin who had previously fought Infinity Incorporated. During his initial encounter with the new Harlequin, Alan Scott mysteriously regained his youth. Though at first he thought this an illusion, he learned that the original consciousness of the Starheart had been reawakened and Malah had been tortured and slain. To tease Scott, the Starheart had returned his youth and vigor and lured Scott and Torquemada, the mystic member of the Green Lantern Corps, to itself. Green Lantern and Torquemada engaged the Starheart. They managed to contain some of its evil magical energy, but much of the energy, including the Starheart itself, escaped. Green Lantern Corps Quarterly, Issues 5 through 7. Upon Green Lantern's return to Earth, the crisis known as 0 Hour ensued, and Scott joined the JSA in the initial strike against Exiton. Many of the JSA's members were slain in this assault, and all JSAers except Green Lantern were aged to a point closer to their chronological ages. Green Lantern's power ring somehow protected him from the onslaught, and when he and the JSAers retreated, he resigned to join his comrades in retirement. He handed his ring to the current Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, and ended his career as Green Lantern. 0 Hour, Issue 3. His power ring was subsequently destroyed by Parallax, Hal Jordan, himself a former Green Lantern and friend of Scott's. At some point, Parallax stole Scott's power battery as well. Green Lantern Annual, Volume 3, Issue 4. Following a memorial service for the fallen JSAers, Torquemada projected images of the dead JSAers to assault Scott and awaken within him the power of the Starheart. It seemed that prolonged use of his power ring had imbued Scott with the ability to tap into the Starheart's power directly. As a result, Alan Scott had returned to active duty as the Sentinel. Showcase 95, Issue 1. In recent times, Sentinel pursued the demon Dementor, Guy Gardner, Warrior, Issue 31, and made a personal crusader resolving the disappearance of Kent and Inza Nelson, Fate, Issues 12 through 14. In late 1995, Molly Mayne Scott sold her soul to the archdemon Neron in exchange for youth and vigor. To rescue Molly's soul, Sentinel invaded Hell. Underworld unleashed, the Abyss. The return of her soul cost Molly her youth. Green Lantern, Volume 3, Issue 71. Sentinel and the current Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, battled the Starheart, who had temporarily taken control of Obsidian and had kidnapped Jade. Green Lantern, Sentinel, Heart of Darkness, Issues 1 through 3. In the course of the conflict, Sentinel's powers were temporarily removed, and he resumed his true chronological age. By the end of the conflict, the Starheart had restored a limited portion of Sentinel's power and the majority of his youth. Sentinel found himself somewhat older than he had been at the start of 0 Hour, and he speculated that his powers may someday run out. Recently, Sentinel found that he was losing control over the remaining power he had. Jade, now depowered but a Green Lantern in her own right, complete with Power Ring, helped Sentinel release the energy safely. Alan Scott retained some of the power, although he returned to an age closer to that of his chronological age, and recreated his lantern, resuming his identity as Earth's first Green Lantern. Green Lantern, Volume 3, Issue 110. Abilities? When he first became Green Lantern, Alan Scott's power stemmed from his power ring, carved from a piece of a green train lantern that itself was carved from a meteor that had landed in China and originated in an entity called the Starheart. Green Lantern's power ring could generate and focus green-tinted mystical energy into a variety of shapes and could enable the holder to defy gravity. For example, Green Lantern could use his powering to form solid energy bubbles that he could use to transport objects or individuals, or both. Or he could form a giant hand to lift or crush objects. The limits of variation were constrained only by Green Lantern's imagination and willpower. At some point, constant exposure to his powering granted Alan Scott the ability to tap directly into the Starheart's energy. In his initial appearances as Sentinel, it seemed that his power was limitless. After his last encounter with the Starheart, Sentinel speculated that his powers would diminish over time. The events that led to his return to his Green Lantern identity indicated that Scott lost control over the Starheart's power and was only able to retain a portion of what he originally wielded. Weaknesses? The single flaw in Green Lantern's powering was that its energy was ineffective against wood. Items made from wood could not be lifted or broken by energy from the ring, nor could barriers of its emerald energy stop projectiles crafted from wood. Without his power ring, Green Lantern was merely immortal. As Sentinel, Alan Scott's weaknesses and limitations were not clearly defined, nor are his limitations since returning to his Green Lantern identity. List of villains. Solomon Grundy, first appearance, All-American Comics, issue 61, status still active. Sportsmaster, first appearance, All-American Comics, issue 85, status still active. Icicle 1, first appearance, All-American Comics, issue 90, status slain by Krona in Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue 10. Harlequin 1, first appearance, All-American Comics, issue 89, status reformed and retired. Gambler, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 12, status committed suicide, as revealed in Infinity Inc., issue 35. Connotor, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 28, status still active, whereabouts in time and space unknown. Mr. Paradox, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 38, status unknown. Dr. Aqua, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 26, status unknown. Sky Pirate, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 27, status unknown. The Fool, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 28, status unknown. Red Domino, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 36, status unknown. White Star, first appearance, Green Lantern, volume 1, issue 34, status unknown.